something we discuss every year in the competition committee. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting that does go on from time to time on the field. We've tried to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun, and there's always a fine line there, but none of us like to see that, and it's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced without taking the fun out of the game too, but nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know I certainly don't, and I think the rest of the members of the competition committee feel the same way too.
John Mara, it sounds like, said we get sick and tired of the talking. It was transcribed with the word talking by the Giants, and it was sent out that way. We used it that way. We heard from the Giants last night that he actually said taunting, and they mistakenly interpreted it as talking. That's all I'm going to say about that. It changes the vibe a little bit. It sounded to me like he said talking. And it sounded to whoever transcribed it by the Giants that it sounded like talking. Whether it's talking or taunting, they're sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
And that's why they've once again made it a point of emphasis. Chris, it was a point of emphasis in 2014. Point of emphasis is a fancy word for we don't think our officials are doing a good job calling this foul. And this is our way of getting their attention and ensuring that they'll do it going forward. And then they will for a year or two, and then they'll become lax again.
Exactly right.
And then the problems arise, and then it'll be a point of emphasis in 2028.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's kind of seems how it goes with this. I do. I mean, I've noticed the last few years, I felt like they've let things go a little bit more with people yelling and things like that at each other, you know, a little more trash talk, all those type of things. You know, I mean, I understand where the competition committee's coming from here. You know, again, I like to see the end zone dances and some of the celebrations. But I'm here. I'm one to tell you, I don't like disrespect of other players. I don't. That's not the way I was raised to play football. It's just not the way you do it. And then you got to remember, like, John Mara is part of like the holy grail of the NFL. It's like protect the shield at all costs. That's what they do. That's all he worries about to a degree. So, yes, they're worried about the league and how it's perceived. They want to make it friendly for kids and moms and dads to watch, and the kid doesn't have to go, Mom, what is that mean linebacker saying to that running back there? Like, they don't want to see that. Or it boil into fights on the field that make the games longer and those type of things. So I get that. But, like, yeah, you know, some of this stuff, that's got to go. Like, that's just, it's not, to me, like, I know we're trying to have fun. It's not the most egregious, but nobody in the NFL is really going to like that, coaches included.
And there is a line, and it's a know it when you see it type of a thing between celebrating and celebrating in someone's face.
Right.
And when it's directed to the opponent is when the flag is going to come out. We talked yesterday about the spinning of the football. I found our article from 2013 where if you spin the football out in the middle of the field, no problem. You spin the football at the feet of an opponent or while the opponent's still down on the ground, it's a problem. We saw that there, a spike at the feet of an opponent. It's a deliberate message to a specific individual. That's what will get you flagged. And I agree with you as long as everybody understands that this is the rule and this is what's expected. And the problem is the officials. That's what never gets said in all of this. The officials have failed to throw the flag when they should, and that sets the stage for retaliation. I go back to the Antoine Winfield Jr. putting the deuces in the face of Tyreek Hill. Why? Because Hill has largely gotten away with running down the field and throwing the peace sign back at his opponents, which, even though he's not in their face, the message is, see you later, you, that guy I ran away from.
Right.
So if you start penalizing him when he's doing this, and this is the thing in the regular season that upset Antoine Winfield and should have been flagged and wasn't, that's when you're going to get Antoine Winfield to retaliate when he has a chance. See, that's taunting. That should have been flagged.
Yeah.
That's why it's a point of emphasis, because those guys that you see there in black and white stripes didn't throw a flag when Tyreek Hill did something he should have been flagged for.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, again, like that's to me the toughest ones there. I mean, would it be less taunting in your opinion if like he doesn't turn around at all and just like holds up the deuces in front of him? That's where, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not, if you're doing that running into the end zone, fine. But what he's
as soon as he turns around and does it to the guy, right.
Peace out to the guy who's trying to chase me. Why are you even wasting your calories trying to chase me? You can't catch me. You stink. I'm good. Peace out. That's the message.
Yes, you're right. And that has to go. I hope they can, find the fine line there of, maybe a guy like we talked about yesterday is doing that, but not looking at anybody specifically, high-stepping into the end zone, not trying to show anybody up, to where they can let that go. Because that stuff is fun. Kids like watching that. I like watching that. But yeah, like we talked, I don't like to see the receiver get up and spike the ball in front of the corner and do that type of stuff. That's amateur type stuff to me. The corner doesn't get to do anything to you when he shut you out for the last 12 passes. He doesn't get a chance to show it up because the ball didn't come your way or do anything that way. So I understand the league stance on this, and you're right. I just hope that the refs can find that fine line. I've had players tell me this, Mike, too. Like, I want them to be able to hear where I remember I had, I can't remember who it was. I wanted to say Brandon Marshall at the end of his career, one of those guys that I played with. But he was basically saying, like, he got, who was it? Either way, this person got flagged for taunting. And they were face-to-face with somebody saying respectable things like, man, good hit, way to hit me, and doing like that, and they threw the flag for taunting. I hope they can differentiate between that stuff too, because sometimes it looks like they're talking trash and they're actually like, man, good play, you the man, or so I hope they can find that out.
Yeah, the body language goes a long way toward letting the officials whether or not to throw the flag. And look, the thing that bothers me about it, and I don't want to bog the game down with replay review, but it's 15 yards of field position, so you better be right.
That's right.
I think that may be why the officials are hesitant.
Agreed.
If it's close, are we really going to throw a flag that can't be reviewed by anyone? This is another reason why they should have sky judge, booth umpire, who could, in real time, without activating the full replay process, say, no, I don't think that was taunting. I'm looking at it right up here on this 80-inch monitor that I'm sitting in front of. It wasn't taunting. Pick up the flag. That's part of it. So if you want it to be called aggressively, you got to give them an out. You got to give them a way to save face if they throw the flag and then realize maybe we shouldn't have thrown the flag. Players threw the flag yesterday on what John Mara had to say. Now, again, this is based on the Giants sending out his quotes as him saying sick and tired of the talking. I don't know how much of a difference it makes between talking or taunting, because there was a negative reaction last week when the word came out that it was going to be a point of emphasis. But Alvin Kamara was upset. Adrian Amos said, I blame that darn rap music. Again, that was in response to Mara saying, or the Giants thinking he said, they're sick and tired of the talking. Kamara was at it again. Tyrann Mathieu had a tweet that he deleted. So the bottom line is everyone's on notice. And what we're hearing publicly is no different than what the players are hearing privately. And the coaches have every reason to make sure the players understand the rules, because it is a significant chunk, 15% of the total field that flips when you do something like that, and the coaches are going to want to make sure the players aren't putting the team in a bad spot, Chris.
No, definitely not. And again, I think there is something to it about, yes, the look for the NFL, respecting your opponent, respecting the game altogether. I'll go back to New England. I can't remember too many times I've seen their players taunt anybody over the last 20 years. They're not worried about like their after the play antics. Belichick, McDaniels, whoever the defensive coordinator, like, hey, screw all that. Get back in the huddle and remember what you do your job. What do you got to do the next play? We could talk later. And I understand John Mara and some of the old school owners certainly wanted to protect that aspect of the NFL.
The two things I remember from the Belichick era as it relates to anything that would be remotely problematic, I think it was Brandon Cooks riding horseback on Rob Gronkowski, and they got in trouble even though it wasn't a penalty.
Right.
And it's Ed Reed Day on here on PFT Live, because I remember Tom Brady sliding one time and putting his foot up in Ed Reed's crotch. I think he got fined for that, but not flagged. Not quite taunting.
Yeah.
But those are the only two things I can think of.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often.
I can
in New
remember
England.
Rodney Harrison doing the Eagles thing in the Super Bowl thing. But of course, if there's going to be
But he
one
wasn't
jerk
doing it
to somebody,
But
you're right.
But he wasn't doing it to somebody. He was running down the field just flapping his arms. He's trying to get a little extra velocity as he's running down the field after he made one of his interceptions in Super Bowl 39.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.